Hello and welcome to another episode of MOPO, where we discuss matters of personal opinion. It's all MOPO. Today we're going to be doing another episode of Gotham, Season 4, Episode 3.
The Dark Knight, I believe.
That's the subtitle for the season?
Yeah, for the season, I believe.
And I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, we are having...
for Gotham.
We do have Bruce slowly going into the direction of the quote-unquote Dark Knight, but how's it spelled? Is it spelled with a K?
I believe so, yeah.
Because I think it might be a play on words.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of Gotham's Dark Knight.
That's what I'm getting at. Like,
I mean, maybe they should have just dropped the K.
Like, if I were living in Gotham, I would not be happy.
But, a lot's going on. And this episode actually started off pretty wild, too, because I was like... It was like a...
cinematography wild or whatever. It's like, are we watching, like, Gotham? Like,
I was just talking in the sense of... we start with a giant flashback to, like, 2000 A.D.
Yeah.
Wait. That doesn't make any sense. 2000 A.D. We're not even in 2000 A.D. now.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not. Well, yeah, okay, we are in 2000. So what year was it? Was it
probably BC, maybe
2000? But they said he lived 2000 years.
Yeah.
So did he die and resurrected like the same time as Christ? Like, is he really Christ? And all these Bibles were like...
I wouldn't be going that far. But.
I mean, I'm going to go that far because if he's 2,000 years old, our calendar starts at 0, the birth of Jesus, and this guy dies and is resurrected.
Start with the birth of Jesus.
Our calendar starts.
It's just a way of discerning timeline, because the calendar goes before Christ.
Oh yeah, but I mean, as far as when we start counting forward,
before Christ. But
anyway, so it's like long time ago. Basically, you just see this guy on a horse, kind of like walking through, and then he's just like, "There you are," and it's Ra's al Ghul.
Dead as
dead. I'm almost expecting him to like come to life right then and there and be like, "Oh, thank God you found me." It's been so difficult to play dead because I'm not thinking. But then this guy drags him into like this. I mean, I'm assuming it's a cave at this point.
Temple, cave, something like that.
But dips him into the waters. Now, mind you, Ra's al Ghul looks like he's maybe of British Indian descent.
Yeah, maybe like Saudi
And
Arabian
this guy definitely looks like a Fu Manchu, like Confucius type guy. So, I mean, I think this is all happening in like Asia.
Okay.
Which, again, doesn't make any damn sense if this well is in America.
Well, what if it's like an underground spring and wells are popped up?
It's an underground spring so ancient that it can bring the dead back to life, but also able to stretch literally to the other side. Do you think it's just like a cylinder of water that goes from this side of the earth straight through the middle to that side of the earth, and because it bypasses the core, it has healing properties or some shit?
Yes, I don't know.
If I go into the bottom of that well and I swim and swim and swim, will I end up in China? Because I'm just like, I'm not wrong. Like, Gotham's in America, right?
Yeah.
And Ra's al Ghul definitely healed or allowed Bruce to heal Alfred in the waters, right? In Gotham, right?
Was that in Gotham?
It had to have been in Gotham, because Gordon was following him and everything.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But then, this spring, like there's, you're not going to tell me that this battle that he died from was in America. I'm sorry, it didn't look like it was America. Ancient Chinese secret Calgon.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll explain that away.
Or just leave it, and just go.
I mean, there's a couple different rationalizations that I have for it that my mind can accept and be like, okay, we can move forward from this.
It was just so strange.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Ra's al Ghul wakes up, and And that's the other thing that kind of threw me off, is like the interaction seemed 50-50. Half, he was surprised to be alive and didn't know where he was or how he was alive. And then the other half made it seem like he was familiar with who this guy was.
Right.
And like it was almost this kind of unspoken undertone where it was like, oh, about time you resurrected me kind of thing. But I'm like, so which is it? Does he know the guy? Does he not know the guy? I'm just so confused. I think
he knew the guy, and the guy was the one who was telling Ra's al Ghul about this shit. And Ra's al Ghul was all like, whatever, buddy. You know.
But then he died.
But he died, and then he got brought back. He's like, oh, well, you know, I guess...
Okay, I guess that would bring a few of the stuff...
Pie on my face, buddy, you know.
I think that would kind of explain a few things.
An extra ruby in your pay this week.
Because then he goes, I brought you back, and now it's time for you to find an heir like I had to, suggesting that Ra's al Ghul was his heir.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and you'll need this knife. And I'm like, but for what?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we never see them use the knife. He just gives the knife to Ra's al Ghul. So it's like, you found your heir, which is just some dude on a battlefield that you decided to resurrect, right? And then you give him a knife, and then that's the end? We don't see the guy die, right? It's not suggested that he's not continuing on to live forever, right? And the way it was almost implied, it was like, find your heir so you can move on or something like that. Almost like now that this guy found his quote-unquote heir and passed the knife on, now he's all of a sudden mortal and can die. Like, these were the different things that were going through my head. Like, nothing but questions for that first part of the episode.
I think that was intentional on the show's behalf.
The show better bring these lines together.
Because they did another flashback in the next episode, I believe, or maybe later on in this.
I was going to say maybe later on this season, because I didn't see another flashback at all.
I know they did another flashback with like the tigers and shit like that. And I don't know if it was in this episode.
I don't remember any tigers.
But anyway.
But yeah, so that all happens at the very beginning, and what is it? He says, "Find your heir, brought back by the water." Yeah. Okay, so then we pick up, it's present day, and we got Bruce and Alfred are working on a mission where Alfred is kind of taking the reins of Alfred, so to speak, like the Alfred we know today. He's kind of coming into the Alfred then, where he's the ears and eyes, so to speak, for Bruce, and Bruce is like the man on the ground. And I forget why they're at the dock, but they're trying to steal something.
Well, no, they're basically looking for
criminals
on Ra's al Ghul.
Are they? Because I thought they were just doing like random missions. These are bad guys, so let's mess up their plans. All this
is leading towards how are we going to stop Ra's al Ghul? What does Ra's al Ghul want? So on and so forth.
But yeah, then Selena shows up. Well, all right.
He doesn't know it's Selena.
They don't know it's Selena.
Working for Barbara.
Honestly, we don't even see her. We see an aerial shot of her back. And she's wearing a hood and a mask on top of it. And I'm like, that's Selena. And then they show her face with the mask. And like for a second, I'm like, wait, is it? And then I'm like, yeah, it is. Because then she takes it off. Bruce goes, oh, I'm not worrying about the mission anymore. I'm going to figure out who this person is. And Alfred's like, yo, thieves stealing from thieves. It's a victimless crime. Just bounce out. That's why I think it was just to screw over bad guys. Because Alfred was real quick to just be like, let it go.
But then he found something that's like...
it's like, why is Selena here? Why is this there?
Well, blah, blah, I don't think he knew that was Selena.
How did that work? Okay, well, yeah. So all we know is that Selena was there too. Bruce gets found out. He kept his mask on.
Keeping that mask on now. He learned that lesson.
Alfred must have beat it into him. But he kept the mask on. And then, like, gunfire starts. He manages to, like, beat these guys up. All the while, Selena's, like, dodging gunfire from behind this wooden wall of a truck. And ends up not getting the package she was there for. And then, you know, she runs off and Bruce gets away. Do we want to continue with that? Or
yeah, do you just want to go...
Maybe just very quickly. Just be like, okay, so Selena then leaves and she goes back to Barbara. And that's when we realize that this was a way for Selena to prove herself to be an equal share partner with Barbara. Because Barbara's in the middle of selling all these guns. Like, she shoots this dude right in the chest.
It's a badass gun.
And was like, hey, look at that cluster right there. You ain't going to find that on any normal market or whatever. Because it was some sort of shotgun. And the guy's wearing a bulletproof vest. So he's alive. And Selena comes in and, you know, Barbara's like, yo, so where's Tabitha? Is she ever going to show up to work? I mean, I am paying her half the profits. And then Selena's like, don't you mean 1/3? And Barbara's like, you get my package? And Selena's like, no. And then it's right there. It's like, well, that's why you ain't getting a fucking third. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like, are you mad at me? And Barbara's like, no, I just should never have trusted you. You're obviously not capable. So, if you want to redeem yourself, mop my floors. And Selena's like, go to hell. Right. And she just kind of bounces. But it kind of gives you, like, she's working for this partnership. It's not just being given to her like it is for Tabitha. Because Barbara's worked with Tabitha, she knows what she can bring to the table.
Right.
Selena's just some girl. So we'll stop there. We after that whole situation, we kind of pick up with Gordon, because he goes down to, I guess it's Florida?
Well, yeah, he goes and he's trying to find Falcone.
Well, he finds Falcone.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I didn't know if it was in Florida or not, or if it's in another country.
I'm not sure.
I was under the impression that it was Florida. I wanted to say Miami, but like I don't remember anything sticking out that said Miami. It seems very, very...
tropical.
Cuban-esque. Like if you think of a bad guy's secret tropical lair, like that's kind of what it was like, but I typically don't think Miami.
Right.
But,
I don't know that the location is.
Yeah, but it was like a tropical thing, like, obviously good weather. They keep talking about how it's so good to see the sun every day. I'm like,
right.
Gotham's miserable. But,
Gotham.
So he goes to see Falcone. Falcone drops it on Gordon like, yo, listen, dude, I'm never going back to Gotham. I'm dying. And something about the air down here and something about being nowhere near Gotham and not being all stressed out all the time is doing me a lot of good. So, the hell with Gotham. I'm not going back. And the daughter's like, oh, well, I'll go.
Well, yeah, he has his daughter Sophia who's like sitting there listening in on their conversation all the time, pretending to be fencing or whatever.
Well, she was like cleaning the horse or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
And that was like before he even sees Falcone. Like she almost sits down at the table immediately after Gordon sits down at the table. But yeah, because Gordon wants Falcone to come back and bring back all the capos. Like what do you call a general in the mob? The Dons, like the other heads of family, and Falcone's like, no. The Sophia, the daughter, she's like, yo, I'll do it.
Yeah, she's all like, oh, you ain't ready for Gotham.
Yeah, Falcone's like, you ain't ready, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, so he basically leaves. Well, he leaves the Falcone estate because actually, let's follow this. He leaves the Falcone estate. And then, and it's like way later too. It's like almost a good portion of the episode goes away. Like Gordon's just kind of like enjoying a drink on the beach, and she shows up. Sophia, the daughter, shows up, and from the all right, they were making oogly eyes at each other at the beginning, right? And I'm like, oh, she wants it, but then the second she found out that was Gordon. I'm like, she immediately hates him. He killed her brother, Oh, I'm like, that's over. So she ends up meeting him on the beach. And
You have to do what you have to
she's
do.
like, oh, well, he's like, oh, what do you follow me? She's like, oh, maybe I just don't want to have a drink alone. Like, some weird coy stuff. And basically is like, I've been training my whole life to come up to Gotham, yada yada, some other stuff. And, Gordon's like, yo, I'm really sorry about your dad. Like, that's messed up. And then, she says something like, oh, well, while he was in Gotham, I was down here, but it wasn't that bad because I always had Mario to keep me company. And then that's when he's like, oh, Jesus. He's like, yo, listen, there's nothing I can say, but, I am so sorry about how that went down. And she's like, that's right. There is nothing you can say. And I'm like, you messed up, Gordon. And then she's like, he was cracked out on that virus, so you did what you had to do. I'm like, all right, maybe he's getting some play. Like, and they even kind of like do a little flirtatious thing here and there. And then they're walking down the beach, and she's like, she like grabs a few of Gordon's stuff and throws it onto the sand, and she's like, come on, let's go. And he's like, you're kidding, right? Like, she's going towards the water. And she's like, it's just a little water. I'm like, they're going to go swimming fully clothed? Like, Gordon's not... Gordon's okay. She's wearing the skimpiest white dress. Like, that's going to be see-through immediately. But they only go, like, toes in. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes more sense. And Gordon kind of does this vulnerable exclamation of, oh, I don't remember the last time I just stood still. And I guess that's like magic for her. She's like, "Oh my God, you stand still! I love statues." And then
I stand still too.
And then they start kissing, and I'm just like, "All right, this is so dumb."
So like, my whole note for that whole scene was, Sophia and Gordon gonna get it on.
You're stupid. But yeah, basically,
because as soon as she walked up on him and he's saying, I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Right. But yeah, so they kiss and they kind of pan away. So we're going to drop that for right now. And we're going to kind of meet back up with, I guess, Bruce and Alfred. Because, like, Alfred is sewing up Bruce's hand because he got cut with a knife.
Right.
When those dudes showed up and, like, started getting on him. When Selena was there trying to steal a package that we find out is the knife.
Right.
Yeah, so he sews up the knife wound, and then he starts talking, like they decide that they need to find out what's in that crate.
Yeah.
Like why was somebody else trying to steal stuff? What's going on? We gotta get in on this. There's more going on. And I'm sorry, but Alfred is a smart dude. Bruce is still a really stupid kid. Because it's like, enemies, mask off. And then finally Alfred got that through his head, and then like Alfred's like, Bruce is like, oh, well, we should find out what's on that ship. And then he's just like, how are you going to get on the ship? He's like, well, I mean, like, I'm Bruce Wayne. And he's like, yeah, no. And he's just like, oh, well, I'm going to wear this mask in my getup. And he's like, it's the middle of the day, dude. You're not wearing the mask. And he's like, well, how am I going to get on the boat? It's like, Bruce, you can wear other masks. It's just not going to be a physical one. Like, you big dummy. Like, put on a persona. And I swear, Bruce is like, persona? Like, I actually like Bruce, but he's such a dummy.
Well, he's learning, man.
But, so yeah, he's like...
hard being Batman.
So,
hey, Mario Golui works on this ship already.
Dude, the worst, like, Boston accent he's trying to do?
Even know,
I have no idea. Which kind of makes it... the way his accent was, it pulls more for Gotham being more of a Chicago than a Philly or New York.
Yeah.
Though if it was like real...
Detroit.
Well, yeah, but who talks like that in Detroit? Like, maybe old school New York, Boston today, and, back in the day, I'm sure, but it was just... Yeah, but... Yo, my uncle! Hey, like, what are you... I'm just a street kid, guy!
And just go check it out for me. I'll be right out.
And they're like, no, dude, like, he's like, come on, my aunt's worried about him. I told her I'd look for him. And they're like, yo, kid, nobody down in this boat has any old lady looking for.
Right, you think there's just a big ass boat we don't know who all works here?
Yeah.
Nobody fucking named Louie works here.
And
Come on, you little motherfucker.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, well, let me look around a little bit. I'll be quick. And they're like, all right, kid. And then they let him on, and like immediately they're like, we're following this kid. And he gives him the slip, and then he starts looking through like a manifest, finds what he's looking for, which is like the knife.
Right.
That's when he finally gets the confirmation that he's looking for a knife. And then the two guys show up, and they're like, what, kid, you thought you're slick? You're giving us the slip? He's like, oh, my bad, I got turned around. I don't know where I'm going.
This ain't even the right ship.
Yeah, and then they're like, nah, kid, like, you're going to tell us everything you know. Like, your accent is horrible.
Like, I think they're more like, all right, kid, we're going to kill you now.
Well, after some interrogative torture, I'm sure. But it's funny, because they go, yo, kid, like, maybe if you're going to pretend like you're from the streets, you learn to talk like you're from the streets. And then all of a sudden, here comes Alfred in like a watch cap and like some dock worker garb.
Right.
And he's just like, all right, boy, what you doing? I told you I'd get with you when I got with you or whatever. And then he just runs up to try to like reprimand, quote unquote, Bruce. And then the two guys kind of like hold him off too. And they're like, you got a bad accent too. Like, they don't say it though, but it's like that's kind of their body language. And then Alfred's like, his body language is like, all right, y'all got me. I definitely don't belong here. And he kind of like gives a little quip where he's like, you guys are right though. He needs to work on his accent. And then like beats them both up, and then they fucking take off. So they both take off, and then. Through like research about the knife and everything, that's when they put everything together. They literally are sitting down, looking through all these books and stuff, and they find a book that has a guy that looks exactly like Raj Al Ghul.
And mention of like all
mention
this,
of some sort of
ancient times, like warlord, like dude. And
that's when they put it together with the knife, because I think the knife is mentioned in the text and stuff, and they're just like, all right, this is it. You know, like the knife and Raj Al Ghul are one and the same. So that we'll kind of leave that right there, because like they figure everything out.
Right.
All right, so I want to touch on Barbara again, just as far as, you know, why she wants the knife is because her client that Oswald is so interested in, he actually, doesn't he go to visit her?
Yeah.
And he starts interrogating her and like giving her a whole bunch of crap, and she's like, you know, I'm not telling you. And at this point, they don't tell you, but I wrote down, I think it's Raj Al Ghul.
Yeah.
Is the client. And then that's when I started putting together the whole idea, like, that's how
she kept surviving on this shit.
She kept surviving, and then it was like more confirmed later on when where is it? That's kind of like the end's closer. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll hold on to that.
I mean,
because it's kind of a doozy at the time.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, honestly.
I was like surprised. It didn't like shock me. But I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy.
It does confirm what we already led on to as far as, like, you know, that's how she's been surviving.
Yeah.
You know, though we won't say it outright.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny.
So basically, I guess we can move on to another relationship, albeit short-lived, but...
this girl.
Yeah, so they had this scene where this girl, who I thought was Selena at first, until, you know, they showed her actual face.
For like a split second, right?
And she goes into the nightclub, you know, the Penguin place or whatever, the
Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah, Iceberg Lounge. And she basically rescues the Riddler from his ice, you know, cage. And, like, he wakes up in her apartment or whatever, in her bed, and she rolls up on him like, oh, I love you so much, thank God you're alive, and, you know, rubble. And basically it's I love you.
Did she say they were from the same elementary school or something?
I guess.
It was so weird, and she's like, I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, I'm your number one fan.
Yeah. And basically...
Oh yeah.
what happens is he wakes up and he's all like, she's like trying to give him weird riddles and stuff, and really he's fucked up in the head a little bit from being frozen, and he can't like figure out these simple riddles, but he plays it off like, oh, these aren't even good enough for me, or but really, dude, man's fucked up in the game.
Yeah.
But
and it's like she wants him to reclaim his throne as the Riddler and like take over Gotham, but it's like she wants him to do it with her so she can be, his little, I guess lover.
She wants to be his partner.
Partner, and she's definitely in love with this guy.
She calls herself the Ridlette.
The Ridlette.
And they have like this kind of like, I guess Riddler has no idea what's going on. It's almost like the Psycho relationship, like the Stephen King movie or whatever.
Oh, I was what, Misery?
Misery, yeah.
That's what I was getting.
Misery. And I think,
and it kind of turns it on her, like, right? Because then,
yeah, I mean, it happens a little bit later on, like other things happen, but I guess for the sake of, telling her story, he eventually turns on her and like knocks her out with his big book and skates.
Because for a while he's got the atrophy, but she's like giving him acupuncture and like massaging his limbs and heating him up and stuff. And
he's
he just kind of plays dumb a little bit.
And he's like, "Oh, my body works," and wrecks her and skates because somehow Penguin figures out she's the one that stole the Riddler from him or whatever, and him and Victor Zsasz go and find her, tie her up, and like, look, where's the Riddler? She's like, I don't know. And Penguin's like, you know what, Zsasz, do your thing. And he actually pops her right in the head, man. Like, and then no more Ridlette.
And honestly, I have to say for this episode, Zsasz is definitely my choice.
He's a funny dude
because he's like. When Myrtle is talking about the riddle he couldn't get, he's like, "Yeah, what's red and green and spins round and round?" And Zsasz right away is like, "A frog in a blender," and she's like, "Yeah, of course." He couldn't even get that. Talking about Edward Nygma and just like the joy in his eyes where he's like, "Yeah, I figured it out,
right?" And like, there's another scene where like Penguin is interrogating people because he doesn't trust Sophia.
Oh no! Don't say that one yet.
No,
but yeah,
he's just all like having a good time about it or whatever. It's a funny dynamic. But yeah, they basically kill off the Ridlette, and so what we'll go on to next is what I think is Bruce. They're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready for this auction that the Penguin's hosting or whatever, and he has all kinds of shit, and everybody, Barbara, Ra's al Ghul, Bruce, Gordon, they all know that this item is going to be auctioned off at this auction. So Bruce and Alfred are getting ready for this shit, and he's like, "Look, Bruce, you really gotta start working on like your like acting, and like you gotta make this persona. Nobody's gonna believe brooding Bruce Wayne is gonna be down here trying to like have a good time or whatever. So you gotta act like basically like a brat or whatever, and you gotta go down there,
right?"
And he's starting that training for like the billionaire playboy is a front that Bruce Wayne puts up, so nobody suspects him of being anything more but just some rich boy toy who just likes to fuck bitches and spend money and shit.
I liked how he did it.
Yeah, and he was down there acting a fool. We'll skip to the the actual auction, and he's down there acting a fool, buying up everything, laughing in people's face about it. Just like really.
And when Barbara walks in,
and then Barbara walks in because she's only there for the one item.
Yeah, she's there for the knife,
and she just starts throwing up all kinds of like crazy ass money. And Bruce is like, she's like $100,000. He's like $100,001.
Dude, giving him with the
And then she goes up to like $1 million. He's like $1,000,001. Or whatever, and basically those.
Which I don't understand why she keeps bidding higher, because even the first time he does that, they say, Mr. Wayne, you have to make bets in increments of like $50,000 or something like that.
$1,000.
Yes, or it was more than $1.
More than a penny.
So I'm just like, okay, so then why is she bidding another $200,000? Just stick with the original.
Yeah, because his bid is faulty.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm like, you're ridiculous.
And but this bitch is stupid because she thinks she got more money than Bruce Wayne. You ain't outbidding Bruce Wayne, even a little ass baby Bruce Wayne. You ain't outbidding him, bitch. So you should just cut your loss right there and did what you were gonna do anyway. So he wins or whatever, and she fucking.
And Oswald was quick to make sure that.
Yeah, and
he said
all
$2 million. Oswald was like, auction, bam.
Right, you done. That's good enough for me.
Sold.
I really like how Bruce was acting all buddy-buddy with Oswald, and Oswald was just like kissing his ass right back because he was like, this motherfucker finally came around. I needed this a while ago. This is motherfucker rich, young, acting a fool.
Right.
What's up, buddy?
He's literally funding crime.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, right? He's literally funding what he later ends up needing to fight.
I'm funding you now because later I'm going to come get you. I don't know what happened to my voice.
Yeah, I'm funding you now because later I'm going to come back and kick the fucking shit out of you.
Bust all your teeth down your throat. But,
it hurts so bad.
Obviously, this is where we find out about like Ra's al Ghul and what's her face, Barbara, because he finds out that
we still don't go through because Selina tries to rob the knife from Bruce.
Right. This is what I'm saying though. Barbara fails to get the knife for Ra's al Ghul, so she sends Kat to get it from Bruce.
Oh, okay.
And Bruce is sitting there, but it doesn't happen exactly in that order. But this is where we find out. Basically, there's 5 minutes left of the episode. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because we still got to go through the whole like Sophia being called. She shows up at the GCPD.
Yeah, but that's like.
No, because think about it, dude. Like a whole big thing happens with that.
Bruce is sitting there waiting for Selina. Like he knows that Barbara is going to try to steal the dagger from him because he outbid her.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody's going to bid that much money and not, But I don't know that he had Selina as that person, or you think he knows that Selina was there to steal the dagger?
I think he knows Selina was there to steal the dagger. He just he knew right away. He knew whoever was coming through that window was there specifically to steal the dagger.
Right.
Because there's it would be way too much of a coincidence for a thief to show up. It would literally have been either Barbara, an assassin of some sort from Ra's al Ghul, her or other, or it would be Selina.
So I
like kind of
right.
hopes. Fingers crossed it's not, but it's going to be because Barbara's trying to toy with Bruce's love strings.
Right.
I guess not knowing that they hate each other now, or at least she does him.
I don't even think it was that deep. I think Selina is her bitch, and bitch will get my motherfucking knife. I don't care who got it.
Can be like that for sure.
But, so I guess we do go back to Sophia.
Well, yeah, because what is it? That happens right after. It's like she shows up at the GCPD talking to Gordon about how she's like there to help.
You're like following, you're like tailing me and like trying to like get dirt on me or whatever, and like you're trying to swindle me. And she's all like, if I did,
it's my Gotham. Gotham is my birthright. She says, right?
Right, or like if I wanted to do that, I wouldn't be here now, or whatever. Like she's just trying to like find out about him or whatever, like in a relationship wise.
And honestly, her intentions here are like I get proven wrong.
Yeah, but this.
Because I'm like, yo,
so
she's
much
coming.
twisted and
She's
turning.
she's gonna do like this. I'm goody with Gordon, but I'm gonna be this big old crime boss that's gonna rise up.
Well, if
is
that's the way it's going to be, they're not going to reveal that in the first episode.
I mean, this is the third episode.
I'm just saying the first episode with her in it.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's kind of where I think it's going.
She could be. I think it's a trap, for sure. I think it's Falcone trying to get his revenge on Gordon.
That'd be so crazy though.
His daughter.
Send his daughter.
So I guess like chronologically.
That never even occurred to me.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought as soon as I saw her in the scene. What are you doing in a meeting between your daddy and fucking Jim Gordon? The fuck are you even doing there for?
Well, I mean,
so Jim Gordon can meet the pretty daughter, and oh shit, she looked good.
Yeah, but Falcone had no idea that he was showing up.
I don't believe that either.
I mean, I guess he could have snitches in the GCPD.
Always did. So then, I guess chronologically in the episode,
but yeah, like do the reveal.
The last scene is Barbara and Ra's al Ghul, and he's apparently the client, and not only that, but they're getting it in. So that's how she's been able to live. Or do you think she's living off that off his juices, or he dipped her in the water a couple times?
I mean, unless he's necrophilic, he's dipping her in the water.
What if just by virtue of sharing bodily
because
fluids?
she goes missing for periods of time.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, I feel like that's if she's buried, if she needs time to be dug up, brought to wherever the water is, nursed back to health or whatever, retrained or reoriented in whatever way that needs to happen,
right?
And sent back out.
I don't think she's like League of Shadows, though. You think?
I think she's
something completely different.
I don't know if she's League of Shadows. I mean, she's looking more and more like kind of a warrior-esque. I mean, she's got like the, I don't know, like with the way her hair is, I could kind of see her with like a sword or something.
I don't see her as a fighter. I think she's just like a conniving ass bitch.
And just like, I guess, a really good lay, so he keeps bringing her back.
I mean, she's
got to be able to play a part for him in some way.
Yeah, she is playing the part. She has the connections.
Well, yeah, to the city. That's her kind of like out in the open, underground general.
She's the face or whatever of what his true intentions are.
Gotcha.
Like, he's Ra's al Ghul. He ain't gonna get all his hands dirty. Because
how many times do you think he resurrected her?
At least twice.
Yeah, at least twice. That's what I was thinking.
Maybe the first time when she fell out the window, that might not have been him.
No.
You know what I mean? But the other two times,
definitely.
Which I would like to see that backstory to see how they actually met, or whatever.
Yeah, it would have to have been.
I don't know.
Obviously, before the second time.
Because she came back.
Because she would have had to show potential at that point.
Well, I think the highlight for me, honestly, was like the auction scene. It
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was pretty funny watching Bruce Wayne act out like that and like try to like work on this like billionaire playboy like persona. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we kind of went pretty deep into this, but hopefully it.
Give you a good idea what the episode was. What did you think of the episode?
In our opinions and where we thought it was headed.
And I mean, it's still early in the season, so I'm not gonna like jump to any conclusions or make any like predictions or anything aside from Sophia, who's obviously there to backstab Gordon.
That's crazy.
But we'll see. That's MOPO.
Yeah.
It's all matter of personal opinion.
It's all MOPO.
Thanks for listening.